Hey everyone, it's Desiree. Welcome. Now, I'm not sure if the video before this, I think it is, I showed you, so we're still working on our Creep on June. Not sure if they're going to be signatures or inserts when it comes to these pieces. So we already did the courting of the owners of the Craftly Hall. Now we're going to work on the case file and then also the deed. So I'm going to show you how I came up with this shape. So this is going to fold down like this. This will fold over. And then this just has a rounded edge. And we're going to create a tie file folder style closure here, but I'm going to show you how I came up with this shape with the measurements. So I'm going to say what the measurements are, and then this one here use the same material, and this is what's going to hold the deed, and then it will, fold up as a trifold, like some of those documents do, legal documents. That's what I had in my head. So this one, I'll just give you the measurements. This is simple. You can, make this any size that you want. But let's get started on the case file. Now, the case file is also a freebie. I'm going to make sure that it's linked down below by Tracie. So she's got a combination of, the paid, the two very large files. The one has each of the days for June, and then the other one are just the pages. Those two you can purchase, and then the deed, the courting, and the case file, they are freebies. So I'll make sure that they are linked. All you have to do is become a member of her website. It's free, and you'll be able to get those pieces as well. So I have, and I was able to acquire a ton of these hanging file folders in this green. Somebody had purchased them, didn't want to use them anymore. And what I'm going to do is I want to cut this section off. So I'm going to angle it in my cutter. I'm lining up where it folds over, right into the groove. And I'm going to cut down, and I'm going to do that on both sides. I like to push my cutter to the top because then I can see where I'm lining up. All right. So now we just have the file folder. These I'm going to set aside. So now we just have the file folder here. Now, on one side of this file folder, so we have pretty much now our length on one side. So on this side, we have to remove enough so that there's 5.5 inches here. So I'm going to set this in my cutter. And the fold, the original fold here, that crease in the folder itself, I'm going to line up at 5.5. And I'm going to make sure it's lined up at the top and the bottom. And we're going to slice this off. I saved this piece. All right, so now we have half of our piece. So now we are sitting just like this. All right. So I'm going to put this away. And I'm going to grab my scoreboard now. So we're going to do some scoring, and then we're going to grab our scissors and do some cutting. So first, along the shorter edge. Now this measures approximately, it's just over 13 3/4. This whole length here. So I'm just going to fold this in half. I'm going to put this up in my corner here. And I'm going to score at 5 5/8. I'm going to score again at 5 3/4. I'm going to score again at 5 7/8. And I'm going to score again at 6. So we're putting a score line every 1/8 of an inch. Just making sure my cell phone is off there. Okay. That's the only scoring we need to do going this way because we already have that for the main fold. Now I'm going to take this. Now, knowing this is this way, I know this here is my top. So I'm going to rotate it so that my top is in this side here. And I'm going to score at 3/4 of an inch. Now, this is longer than my scoreboard, and that's okay. I'm just going to come down, and I'm going to keep coming down. I'm going to bring this up, and I'm just going to flip her over, and then I'm going to continue across to have that line going like this, because I need this part to be my top because I want my fold on the right-hand side. Then we are going to score, still keeping this in here, we are going to score at 9 1/4. So if I take this in and just line it up, well, no, we are actually, no, let me open that back up. I did the same thing so many times. We are going to score at 9 1/4. So, yes. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start 9 1/4. We're going to come down as far as we can. We're going to take it and we're just going to flip it. And then I'm going to bring this down until I meet that original score line and just come down a little bit more. Those are the score lines that we need. So now I'm going to remove my scoreboard. And now I'm going to grab my scissors. Now I think, the scissors I want to grab are my long shears, not those. I cannot find my uber long shears. I have found my uber long shears, and they just have this slight edge of a point to them. It's nothing too big, but what I want to do, so if we look at the original template, if I place this on top, we are going to remove this whole section here, this whole section here, and this whole section here. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut along the first score line that we made, and I'm going to go to the inside of it, and I'm just going to come up to that score line. And then I'm going to cut along this score line where we went this way. And again, I'm just going to go a little bit in from the score line until they meet. I'm going to pull away that piece. I'm going to do the same thing up here for this little piece. So I'm going to come in with my scissors, go up to the score line that's crossing, this one, and then I'm going to come down here to this one and continue up to where we just cut. And then I'm going to cut this one out, and I'm going to use our fold line that we have in there. This is like really tough to see. So I'm going to angle this. Now you could also do this in your paper trimmer if you want. I just find I have a little bit of control when I use my scissors. I just take my time with the cut. And then I'm going to cut along the fold. There we go. So those are our cuts. Now for this one up here, I am going to come in with a smaller pair of scissors now. And I'm going to cut some angles. Just going to cut a little bit of an angle off each of the corners. I'm going to try to make them match. But again, if they're not perfect, it's okay. And then for this one, I'm going to cut a V out of this. So I do like to bring a pencil in on this one and say, okay, I want my V to come out to there, and then I want another one to come out to here, so that they will be just a little bit more even. And I'm going to still use my smaller scissors. I should probably use my long shears, and you know what, I'm going to. So I'm going to start at that pencil line, and I'm going to angle straight up to the score line. And I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm going to start at the pencil line, and I'm going to go straight up to the score line. And then I'm going to pull that triangle back. Before I do any other folds, I have these 4 score lines here. So I'm going to fold on the first one, then I'm going to come in on the second one. And what's nice is, I mean, you can use any type of paper that you want. I'm actually just rolling down to that next score line because I just want to get those folds in. And now I'm just going to roll back and forth. Okay, so now I've got that curved edge a little bit there. Now I'm going to fold this up, and I'm going to look at where that is, and I think I am let's get that folded there. I think we're okay, but I am going to come in just a little bit and I'm going to come up just a little bit. I just want to cut a slither off of this. All right, so now we're going to fold that up. So now that's perfect. It's right along, right just below that first score line. And then I'm going to fold this one up, lining up my edge and putting that crease in there. So we just have this notch that's going in here. I'm going to turn her around, and I'm going to bring down this top flap as well. I do want to use my paper creaser to get a really sharp fold for the top and the bottom pockets and holders. There we go. And that is what the shape of our file folder is looking like. Okay, so very simple. Yep. And yeah, you can see the title there, but that's okay. We're going to put something there that'll hide that. All right, so now I have 2. And that's okay because I'll use this for something else. Now, you could make your flap a little smaller if you want. And again, this would only be a 1/2 inch to take off that edge. And you know what? Let's do that. Let's take that edge off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. And I'm going to put a mark right underneath that, because then that will tell me where I need to cut. And I'm going to put this in my trimmer, because we can make that a little shorter. So I'm going to put this in my paper trimmer. Going to make sure she's all lined up. And we're going to cut down. Okay. So now it's just a shorter flap, and I am good with that. Let me get those scraps out of my way. And all this. Now we're going to fill this up. This is the case file for the Craftly haul. All right. So when I come back, we're going to start, I'm going to gather up all my supplies. I'll be using the freebie and the story, and I'm going to gather up those supplies and just some other things that I want, such as stamps, punches, inks, and everything else. And we're going to start putting this together. Okay, I am back. And I think I have everything. I'm sure I forgot something. You know, like now I remembered I forgot something. Okay. Sorry about that. So these are all the bits. The first thing that I want to work on is I'm going to real quick go around and ink some things. Now there's going to be a mixture of inking, and what I mean by that is some of them are going to have, a lot of them are going to have both the vintage photo, and I'm coming in with the scorched timber because I want to stick with the browns. I don't want to pull in the black yet. I think the black is going to be used on some of the days. And like for this one, I think I'm just going to stop at the brown. Yeah. For these, I still want to add the brown just to get that hint, but then I'll come in with the scorched timber just to add a little more depth. And I'm not worried about the inside of these pieces because I am going to keep them folded, and I'm going to be gluing these because then there's a spot to journal, because you will be able to journal in that section. Okay, now I think for the most part we're done. I may have some itty bitty pieces to do. But now like this one, I know I want to come in. All right. Because I don't know, and these are going to be glued shut as well. But not quite sure how they're going to sit in yet, if I'm going to permanently affix them. Now, these are the pages of the story, and I definitely, I printed this 2 pages to a page, and I definitely want to go along the sides to each of them. And I'm sorry, my printer feels the need to say hello. So it is saying hello. And I'm just eating them up, and then I'm just crazily going through, because I do want these to look old. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to crumble them. Because again, this is an old case file, and I'm going to lightly just come over with the residual ink that's on my piece, and you can see those lines. So I'm going to do that to each of them. I'm also going to make sure that I've got ink along the sides in case it wasn't captured. Again, crumbling, opening up carefully, but making sure I've got hard creases so that when I just lay this down and just brush over it, those creases are being amplified. They're just being pulled out. All right, so I'm going to continue to do this. And when we come back, we're going to start putting our piece together. All right, here are our pieces. And I'm going to, yes, even though I've crumbled them up, I am going to flatten them out just a little bit. And I'm going to make sure that our top is together as well. And I'm going to paper clip these, because to get those all back together again would be horrific. Just saying. All right, let's work on these. Now, what I also want to do is I want to cut some tabs out of this. Now, this is not a double-sided tab, meaning to get a double-sided, to get that look, you have to punch it twice. And I think I just want 2 more. There we go. All right. This one we are going to glue together. So I am just going to put glue along the edge. And then I'm going to close that up. Now, we have 3 caseworkers. We have Ernest Brundle, we have Carl Edwards, and we have Dorothy Blakey. So, of course, we know who Dorothy is. And I think this I'm going to make Ernest. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use the black labels, and I'm going to cut them down. It's where I really love long shears, because you can do it in one pass. And I am just going to ink around this just to get rid of that white edge. Not worried about the color. And I'm going to put this on one of my tabs. Now I am going to make sure that I'm putting this on the darker because it'll be seen just a little bit. Now we are going to ink across these, of course. And I'm going to put his name across this. And it just fits. And I am going to wrap it around. Going to ink. Now I'm using the vintage photo because it will still show up on this piece. And now I'm going to take this one side and glue that down. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this, except we're not going to put anything on this yet. And then I'm going to glue this down onto the other side so that they're going to mirror each other, and I'm going to trap those little bits in there. Okay, because this has a black backing. So, I mean, you could, you know, with a white gel pen, but not really. All right, so let's get this here. And I think what I want to do is I want to tack that in. Just don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Because then we're going to have Dorothy and we're going to have Carl. Okay, because I want to be able to journal on those sides as well. But I need to know where these two are going to go so that I know where to put my piece, the tab that I want to create coming off. Again, using those long shears. Just hiding that white. Okay, now I know Dorothy's going to go over on this side. So I would like his to be on this side. And that is where we're going to put that. And I got two colors going on. So right, we're just gonna add this one here, give it a little age. And I want him to sit there, and then our last one, we're going to do the same exact thing. Now I'm going to have to check her name because hers is pretty long like Ernest was, but I think hers is, yes, hers is uber duper long. So that's okay. We're going to trim this down on both sides, and then we're going to cut down the center. And then we're just going to split her name. So it's going to look a little different. And that's okay. So because of that, we can have fun and not put it on straight. And I probably should have done that to Ernest as well, but you know, hey, let's just have fun with it. It's not a big deal. And then we're going to ink around this one. And then we have those files done. But I do think I'm going to, all right, and then we have this here. Okay, so I like that. Now, I think he's going to be permanently fixed in there, so it's not going to move. And I don't want to put anything in here yet because we do have to ink around this. I do want to have ink around the envelope, the pockets here, this top flap. I am going to take this and I'm going to grab one of my black markers. And what I'm going to do is just grab I just want to make this black. So I'm just going to go over this with my marker. So that I have that look, and then I'm going to go over the edges. So I want this to look like a band that's going to go across the top. And you'll see this is going to actually sit right up here. And then I'm going to have two brads on each side of this. So, and I think I'm actually going to put this case number right in the center of that. And I'll trim that down just a little bit. And again, just working with the kit. And having fun with those elements. I printed out the kit, or one of the pages of the kit, a couple times, just so I could have multiple of these, you know, CPI case. I'll put that in the center. All right, and we're going to put that up there for now as well. These two are all nicely done. That's going to be permanently affixed in there. And then this I'm going to have up here. That's going to be like that. And that's going to go here. And then I do want to cut because I do want that permanent. So I am going to take one of these scraps and just put it around it, just in back of it. So I'm just going to cut along this piece. I'm not worried if something is showing because I will be able to ink around that. So I want to make this part of the pocket. And now we'll go around again. So then that's just going to be adhered there. So you can see how the pieces are going to lay. And then I want to take the craft solved, or the craft solved, that's funny. The case solved, and I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to put this here. So we'll have both of those on each of the sides. Now, before I put anything in here, what I do want to do is get the book in, because this, we're going to be flipping this around just a little bit. And I don't want to, oh, we've got one more piece. My bad. You were all screaming it. I know. I heard you. I heard you. Okay. So I want to put one of these on here as well. And I'm going to take another one of these CPI cases. And we'll put that to the front. Because in a case file, everything's got to have the case number on it. And I think if I have her here, and I have Carl here, and that means this is going to sit here. I actually want this to come off the top. And I do want to close this up, because you'll be able to journal on the back. Now, matter of fact, I'm going to keep that open, because you'll be able to journal on the inside as well. So we'll ink the inside. Go, and now we'll put this last one on this piece. Just like that. And we'll put a little paper clip on here. So these are clips that I had gotten, and then I just used alcohol inks to add a little bit of color to them. All right, now let's work on our book so that we can get this in there, because the deed, what I'm calling the deed, or what I'm referring to as the deed, is not going to take a long time. So I think I am going to make that a separate video. All right. I'm going to I'm going to pull the paper clip out, and I'm going to tuck these up in here. And, you know, get them somewhat centered. I'm not going to try to be perfect. And then I am going to paper clip that down. Make sure they're up in there tight. Then I'm going to come in with my bar. I'm going to lift that paper clip again, and then I'm going to put it down again. And yep, like the way that that looks. I'm going to grab my spongy foam and my pokey tool. And I'm going to pierce here. And I'm going to go through all layers. Okay, and I'm going to go through all the layers here. Now that I have that, I am going to use a hole punch, but I need to find my skinny one. I just need a little bit bigger of a hole, I think, to get the brad that I want to use through. I don't know. Let's see. Well, you know what? Maybe if I come in from the other side without hurting myself. Because that's, you know, that's always a chore. Just saying. All right, let's see if this will work. I think it'll work. I'm going to come in with 2 brads. And we're going to pop these through. You know what? This was still too skinny. So I'm going to come in with the favorite crocodile. And hopefully keep all of this straight. And yeah, I need stronger glasses. Because I do want to make sure that I'm going in the right spot. That's one. And we are going to get that in there. I'm going to turn it because I do want these to go side to side. All right, and then we're going to do that one more time, keeping our fingers crossed that we are keeping this straight. Just saying. There we go. I can't see. You know, if one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. There we go. It hasn't been a good day today. It really has not. There we go. Again, we're going to put that through. I do want to make sure that this is to the side again. There we go. And I apologize. I know I shook the table when I dropped those. So sorry about that. Of course, phone rang by me. Okay. All right. Let's get rid of these little bits. Put those over there. We are almost done. So now that we have this set in place, we can now put that down like that. All right. But first, I do want to put the picture of the house in. So I'm just going to clip that. Yeah, that worked. So let's grab the picture of the house. And we're going to make that flat in there. And I hear you all screaming, Des, you're forgetting to ink around the edges. Yes, yes, I am. And that's okay, because we are still going to be able to do this. I don't know why I insist on putting my glue in the ink. So I am going to use these scorched timber for this. Now, you could sew around this, but I don't think that there would have been sewing on that. Now I am going to round my corners, so I want to do that first. There we go. So that's why I didn't choose to, you know, ink, or excuse me, sew. I'm not sure why I'm doing the insides of these, but you know what? We're just going to go with it because it's what we do. It's removing that edge is what it's doing. Turn this inside out. Go down that edge. And again, I'm okay with all of these spots here that are coming in, because again, that just adds to the aging of the file folder. And now I'm going to flip it and really come around the outside. And then for this, I'm going to swirl over this real quick. And then on this last one, I'll go up there and then just look and just rock back and forth on that one. So that, because I wanted to see those marks on that. Okay. So we have that there. We have this here. And we have these. Okay. What I do want to do first, before I get everything else in, I want to mark where I want to put my closures. So I want to make sure that this is inked, which it was not. Here we go. I want to make sure that these are lined up. And I'm going to grab a ruler. Line this up. And I'm going to go about here. We don't need perfection, but I am going to put a mark here. And I'm going to put one here. All right, and that is where my two pieces are going to go. I'm going to grab my 1-inch circle hole punch. And that was really loud. Now, this is really thick paper that I used. This is the Recollections 110 pound. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. And then I have a smaller punch that I will be using for the under part. Because then we're going to have a twine that's going to be for our closure. I'm just going to go on those direct edges for this. And here's a piece of scrap black. Yes, they just fly all over the place. So I'm going to see what 5 is like. All right, so these discs are going to sit up under these. So you can see I have that gap. And then I'll be able to twine the string on. Now I'm going to get these in place because I'm not going to be puncturing through this piece. I'm only going to be puncturing through the top, the craft ones. Okay, so my pieces are now set in place. Now what I need to do is grab my piece of foam again, and we're gonna use the pokey tool. I'm just gonna eyeball the center. And for these, I'm going to use smaller brads. And we're just going to spread those out. And then just make sure they're in the center as best as what we can. Because they do shift. All right. So now we have these. Now we need our string. I'm going to use some of this. So I'm just going to cut a length off. I'm sure it's more than what I need. And that's okay. And what I'm actually going to do is lift up. So I want to wrap this around and then pinch them down again. And that's going to help hold that string in place. And then I'm going to put a piece or two of double-sided tape. And I'm still going to put the double-sided tape on the other one as well, because I've got that, you know, that brad going on there. I for some reason, I just always like to put a piece of double-sided tape when I have a brad down. And it's, you know, on a piece of cardstock. You know, this, no, I'm not going to put, you know, double-sided tape on that. All right, and now we're going to get these into place. So the one without the string, I want to put down on the bottom. And I'm just looking underneath just to make sure that, you know, it's centered up over that disc that we've created. And then you can see, I'll let those sit there, but then I can string this back and forth, and I'm going to trim that right there, and that should be plenty. I will save that. And you were watching my phone the whole time, so that's funny. See, crafting at its best, right? Right. Okay. So let's open this up and we will finish the inside of our piece. So again, I want to take the house. And put that down. So it's going to come up over. And then I want to put our case solved. Just right there. And then for this side, I'm going to start with Ernest. Now he's going to be secured down. I'm going to take off the top. And actually I want to take off this side too. See, this is what we do when we change our mind. Alright, because what we can do is if I put a bead of glue here and then down here and along here, I'll be able to create a tuck. Just like that. And then we still have, you know, we can put a little, you know, thing there. And then I think here I am going to grab another one of those clips. I really like these. I think they're really, really cute. And we're going to have that make it look like it's holding the house picture in place. And I'm going to put I want to clip Dorothy in, and I'm going to do that with a small little clip on the side here. And then that will hold that pocket down as well. Now I can certainly, let's glue that one down. No, you wanna know what? I really don't want to. See how fun that is? Because these pages can also be journaled on. So as we have, you know, Dorothy here, you can put her on an angle and then just put a small clip there. You know what? Too small. Don't want to fight it. I'm going to grab one of my other ones. Get one of those large ones there. That'll look really nice. Put it in a different way. And then we've got Carl. That will sit there. That can be journaled on the other side as well. And then we have our CPI case file with notes. And that can be opened up as well. And I do want to put I'm going to move her up just a little bit. Because I do want to put the CPI case tag down there. All right, so now our inside is done. It's nice and fluffy. And I do want to put this here, the Craftly haul. Not sure why I'm doing the back. And I'm going to come in pretty far, like I did with the other ones, with the vintage photo. And then I'll come in with that. And I think, as weird as this is going to sound, I'm going to cut or tear, I should say. I'm going to create like a frame. And I'm okay that that sits off to the side. I really am. I think that looks good. Now I do also want to put, I'm going to put one there. There. Because you guys know me. I love my metal. Always got to add some metal. And we're just going to put these in here. In each of the corners. Because this is going to be one of the signatures. This I know is going to be one of the signatures. And I do want to distress this up a little bit too. Having a lot of fun with this distress tool. It adds so much, and it's so much better than a pair of scissors. Just saying. And I'm going to prop this up, and I'm actually going to use a piece of cardboard. Now let's see. There we go. And I'm just gonna ink around the sides for whatever is seen. And if that gets all damaged and beat up, that'll make it look even cooler. There we go. And this time, I am just going to add glue on the other sides of these. I'm going to make sure that's closed. And we're going to put that there. And I'm just going to hold it down. And I'm literally just pushing down on the outsides. And then as we continue through, I will be adding more embellishments to it. But there is our folio. I know I'm going to add something to the back, but here's our front. And then here's what our inside looks like. We have our inspectors, our notebook where they took the notes. We have our story, and then our map in the back. So everything just tucks away. And there we go. There is our story, or our case file, I shall say. So I hope you enjoyed this. Took me a lot longer than what I thought, but that's okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you just how real quickly I put together what I'm referring to as the deed, because I am going to pull a piece of ephemera from her ephemera packet for this whole collection. So as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And again, just my spin on the Creep on June for 24. Please make sure you go to our website, click on that calendar, and see everybody else's creations. I am loving them all. I think they are all absolutely wonderful, so inspiring, absolutely inspiring. And I am going to add that case solved to this real quick, because, you know, we always gotta add some stuff there. We're gonna add that right there. So enjoy, everyone. Remember, subscribe. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you ring the bell. Love the art that you create, and especially enjoy the process. I know I'm just having a lot of fun with this. Take care of yourselves. Remember, stay safe, and always remember what's most important. Be creative in every single thing you do every day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Till then, take care.